you doing, Nadine? Good to see you.
Commissioner Lovett there.
Nice.
Tony's there.
They were, yeah.
Good, okay. Sylvette, we good?
Yes.
Okay. I want to call the June meeting of the Lehigh Northampton Airport Authority to order. We'll stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Sylvette, would you please call the roll?
Paul Anthony.
Here.
Ann Baum.
Here.
Robert Brooks. Frank Fasciano.
Here.
Ricky Gower.
Here.
Justin Grimshaw.
Here.
John Hayes.
Here.
James Irwin.
Here.
Kevin Lott. Willie McGee.
Here.
Jeannie McNeil.
Online.
Glenn Reedman.
Present.
Kevin Surface. Mike Stershik.
Here.
Jonathan Strauss. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Do you have any public comment?
Not at this time, sir.
Okay, thank you. You all should have received the minutes on the portal of the May 26th meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions? Hearing none, I'll have a motion to approve. John and Frank. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Treasurer's report. Paul, I assume you're gonna turn it over to Todd?
Happily.
Or are you gonna do it?
He's gonna do it.
Todd,
would you please present the May report?
I thought maybe you would do it.
I missed a committee meeting. I would.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's not my thing. Always start off with the traffic. We are still third best all time through 5 months. You can see our aircraft traffic is up from last year, which is a good sign, and our American. And obviously, we're showing the decline from United, which we stopped at the end of September. September 1, thank you. Comparing us to our peers, you can see our throughput is doing quite well. 7% up on our throughput versus all airports. We're about flat on seats versus all airports, which are up about 3%. Comparing us to our peers, the impact of the Spirit has bumped us up the food chain. So we are second on this list here of our peers. 7 on throughput versus the average of about -4. And then our seats, even though we're about flush as far as seats, it's still better than the peer average, which is down about 3%. For the month of May, we had a good month. We net income, obviously we're talking without CARES, because last year we had CARES, but we had a good month of $435K, and a lot of that based on revenue, which is always a good thing because you can't cut yourself to success. So it's nice when revenue comes in. I didn't expect depreciation down versus budget, but up versus last year. Again, a lot of that's the timing of some of our projects, which will eventually catch up on once we get going on some of these projects. Again, year to date, this is kind of showing where we are. That 1.6, 1.8 has been our range through 5 months for pretty much since 2022. If you take out CARES, we've been pretty much in that. Last year was a little bit of an anomaly on that 1.3, but we've been, if you look at the average, it's somewhere in that 1.6, I think it was like 1.683. If you looked at the average from 2022 through 2026 for the first 5 months. So we're pretty much in line with what we've been doing the last few years there.
But that's with being lighter on depreciation because of timing of the project.
Correct. And a higher revenue again, obviously, yes. This is kind of showing our budget impact. Again, a lot of those on the revenue side there.
Was this a record year for de-icing?
I'll let Connie answer
No,
that question.
I think it was last season.
Was it?
And then comparing our cash, which is our most important thing we focus on around here on our balance sheet. And this is showing where we are versus the peer average. Again, showing our number to be strong for the next 12 months. We will update the peer average probably in the next month or so when we get data for the end of last year. Any questions? Good, Mo. Try to keep it short and sweet. How are you? Good.
No questions for Todd? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial report for May.
So moved.
Glenn, Jim, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. John Hayes.
Okay, thank you,
Finance
Mr. Chair.
Committee.
We'll turn it back over to Todd. We've got some proposed clarification language for the pension plan documents. Todd will go through that now. It's my understanding, Todd, the unions have all agreed to the language changes that we're going
Yes.
over.
Yeah, so to John's point, we talked about this pretty much in depth on last week, but each one of the unions, I met with each one of them to walk through these changes. They're not big changes, just clarifying language. We've spent a lot of time with Keely, who is our pension attorney, going through the language, kind of cleaning some of this stuff up, making it in a Word document so we could actually read some of this stuff. Some of this stuff is like old. So, and this clarifying some things that are being done, have been done since before I got here, that make it clearer for folks to understand. The first one was really talking about, just talking about your actual retirement, and you cannot defer your benefits like you can on Social Security. So you're supposed to take it at 65. So if you wait, people say, hey, if I'm supposed to get 1,000 at 65, if I wait till 67, I should get more like Social Security. That's not how it works. So you should take it at 65. That's the way it works. And you cannot take it while you are still working here. You must retire before you can take your pension. So those are long-standing things, just kind of ironing those out. The other one was dealing with the pre-retirement death benefit, just really talking about, who's entitled. We have the vested folks that are not here anymore, that if you're not working here, you're not entitled to a benefit. But if you're here, you're still entitled to the benefit. That's the way it's always been done. And then the other one, because we have contributions, that those contributions always go back to the member or their beneficiary if they die before they get vested. So that is clarifying what those always been. And the last one, my favorite, is your current spouse is your automatic beneficiary. Not your first wife, not your second one, but your current one. Just kind of making sure that that's clear, because everybody thinks, oh, I named my first wife from 20 years ago and you've been married 4 times. It's your current spouse. So just clarifying what that is, so everything's clear. Again, a lot of this is just, we have our pension meeting. We actually just sent it out. We go through all our employees. We have some great benefits. We want to make sure people understand them, really know what they have, because what we don't want is folks coming to us when they're about to retire and going, what do I do? When we have these plans, you should plan ahead, understand what you have ahead of time. Any questions? I think that's it. Yes.
I just have one. Sorry, is that you?
No, you go first.
If you could scroll back up a little bit, I think you said at the committee meeting, I understand the 65, you have to, you get it at 65, it doesn't accrue like Social Security, I get all that. And you have to, no longer be working for the airport. But I believe at the committee meeting, you said they could be collecting that and then reapply and technically get hired again. And still
There's a cooling off period, right? So if you stopped working, let's just say somebody was here, they worked here and they retired at 65, and they came back and worked, then obviously they already had their pension at that point. There's a cooling off period. Yes, that is correct.
Is that defined in there as well?
That I'm not sure if it's.
They also call it a break in service.
Break in service, yes, I think that is covered under the break in service period. And I believe it's 60 or 90 days, I just don't know off the top of my head, but it's clearly defined in there.
It is clearly defined in
Yes,
there?
it is.
Great, thank you.
My question was just on Article 4. It was the very last one that you covered, and I guess it was more about just due diligence. So a quadro could still play into a quadro from a divorce could also play into that, correct? I don't want to get into weeds here, but I just want to make sure that everybody's mindful of that. Say you had 3 wives, and I'm not an example here, but say you had 3. I only have 1. Say you had 3. Well, I dealt with pension in my past life. if you had 3 wives, and then so they're saying whoever your current wife is, it's automatically defaulted to the beneficiary.
Yes.
However, wouldn't wife 1 or 2, depending on how the quadro was worked out in the lawsuit, wouldn't that still come into play? That's my only question that I have on that.
It
Just the
would-
due diligence.
Right, it does come into play, and again, a lot of this is if the current spouse hasn't signed off on it. So it's just notarizing them to let them know, but if there's an agreement, quadro.
Wait, could you repeat that?
So you can name somebody other than your current spouse to be the beneficiary.
Oh, but the current one has
The
to sign.
current spouse has to sign off on it.
Right, but the quadro still can roll in, and because that's kind
That
of
is
a
correct.
legal.
That's a legal document.
In
right.
addition to these plan documents. Okay, thank you.
And this is really for folks that don't name a beneficiary and they haven't had their current spouse sign off.
Okay, I got
Yours
it.
is more something that they've already.
Well, that's kind of nice, then it's steerage for the member. Okay.
Yeah, I was a little confused on that because Article 4 will say designated beneficiary, right, prior to termination.
Yes.
But Article 4 also states spouse is the automatic beneficiary. It doesn't say anything about your designated beneficiary.
It's a much longer section. So
Okay.
that's the only language that was adjusted. So yes, you can designate any beneficiary
I
you
assume so,
want,
right?
Right.
Okay.
But if
But
you don't.
if
But if
you've
you
not
don't-
designated anyone, again, you have people who left and never designated, and so it's clear who that person would be.
Right, I mean, and
Okay.
a lot of this is really designed so that you would name that person and your current spouse would sign off on it. But, mainly you have these problems when folks don't have a beneficiary and they just assume it's wife number 1. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
or they name wife number 1, 20 years ago and then never made an adjustment. So this is just kind of letting them know that,
Okay,
so
understood.
they can make an adjustment.
If they named wife number 1 20 years ago and never changed it, wouldn't it still be wife number 1? Because
No.
they designated somebody.
If they designated somebody, it's, well,
Mm-mm.
that's a tough one with Pennsylvania law.
You in Pennsylvania, I don't know about that one. That's why you want to notarize that the current spouse has signed off on it.
Right, but if the current spouse didn't sign off and they filled out the paper actually designating, all right, so I'm gonna give you a scenario. Billy McGee's first wife, okay? Sorry, buddy, I've got to put you back. No, in all
It's my current wife as well.
In all seriousness.
For the record.
In all seriousness, you might designate them while you're dating them.
I'm sorry?
You might designate them, so you fill out the paperwork while you're dating them, then they become your wife, then you get divorced, now you have a new wife, right? But you designated it because you filled out that paper. By your language, it actually, it's not clear. How about that?
Well, it's conflicted.
It's conflicting.
It is.
Bill, just make it more clear, Bill.
I'm,
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
You know what I mean? Because, and that's a good, and I didn't see that before, but I do see that now, because they would have actually physically designated that person.
if the current spouse doesn't sign on it, you can find yourself in a big situation. Even if they signed off on it 20 years ago, if the current spouse, that would default to them if they haven't signed off. Just- Again, it might work, but I'm just telling you how.
Because they didn't sign off.
Why
on
would
it.
they didn't sign off on it? Again, yes,
I
you can
understand.
name anyone you
I
want,
understand what
but
you're saying.
if the current spouse doesn't sign off on it, and there's no.
Even if they filled it out 15 years before the
Right,
current
right.
spouse didn't. I understand what you're saying.
Are they planning on putting out an informational packet to all the participants in this, so they understand that, where they could clearly say, hey, if you had a prior with this new policy, because I get this policy. I don't know how many times we ask our members to try to get your latest, and then somebody passes and it's wrong, and it's not what that's not what their wishes were. I get how important this is, but it would be nice if they would roll something out to the members, to the participants that said, hey, we just changed our policy, and I don't know, maybe sign this, get a thing back, or then do a follow-up. How many lives are we talking about?
Well,
300, 500?
First thing is, we didn't change anything. This is the way it's always been. We're just clarifying. We have our regular meetings. We actually had this discussion when we talked about the defined contribution plans, where we sent out a lot of information to our employees. So we're talking about another beneficiary day where we're going through with each department to make sure they get all their beneficiaries up to date. Because again, you almost have to do that one-on-one and sit down. We talk to each one of the unions, but you have to talk to Joe, you have to talk to Bill, you have to sit down with them and say, hey, go through all the beneficiaries, not just this one, all of their beneficiaries. because there's life insurance and stuff or something.
Yeah, that's been an
So-
ongoing initiative for.
Right, so again, to your point, it's always a challenge because you want to tell people that nobody thinks they're gonna die. And then something happens and then there's problems, so we try to walk through it, yes.
Anne has a question.
Yes, Ann. You're muted. Go ahead.
So, great discussion. Why don't we add to this section that speaks to the first or the current spouse, language that says or designated beneficiary, so it's clear in that section. And then obviously you'll talk to everybody through the training and try and get it straight. But if we add that language there, then it'll be clear that the current spouse or whomever is designated
You mean,
by,
you're talking about in the section 4.6, correct, above, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like add it to that actual section. And then you could also say designated or required by legal documents. And I'm not sure who was talking about it, but about the quadro thing. So then you've got it all in that section and it'll be a little more clear.
Okay. We will circle back with Keely and see what we come up with there.
All right, yeah, so this is within PA law?
Yes.
That's, okay, so that's the law. So I'm still, just uneasy between the designated beneficiary and the automatic beneficiary, but if we're following the PA law,
Yes.
that's what the PA law states in Virginia.
So
And the other thing
basically-
is, you're not amending this doc, right? You're just clarifying, so you
Just
don't need to send any changes out, you're just clarifying, not amending.
Correct.
Got it.
Right.
So basically, the current spouse at the time of death, if the member is able to make a claim, the current spouse is gonna have a claim. Is that what this is saying? Like,
Yes.
kind of no matter what the
And that's PA.
designation is, unless, we're using the wife in this scenario, she's signed off on it. If she hasn't, she's always gonna have a claim. If she's married to dead guy at the time of death, and dead guy is eligible for a death benefit. So that's what you were saying by Pennsylvania law requires this,
Yeah.
right?
So we're just trying to make it clear because again, these things get ugly quick. So any other questions?
It just seems that does help the ones that did not take the time to fill anything out.
Yes.
What Ann
Yeah.
suggested, I think is great for that. It's still there's still the problem of if I didn't update my, current wife, that's still a problem because my first or second, you know what I mean, is still on there.
And again, we try to review all this stuff. Some of this stuff is old and we want to make sure we do it. That's why we're having these beneficiary days because you really need to do the one-on-ones. We have the meetings. And as much as we want to give out qualifying language, if you don't explain it to the individual employees, it doesn't matter what you put in here. So that's why we have to do it because each employee needs to understand what this means to know. Any other questions?
Should we hold off on this until the next meeting or proceed
Good. I mean,
with this?
You're gonna, with the
Well-
changes that Ann suggested?
yeah, we'll add in some additional language to make it clean. Yeah. We'll just on the one section, then we can do that.
Okay.
And
So,
since it was your language, are you okay with approving it with the language being inserted that you suggested?
I am, yes.
good. So can I have a motion to that effect to approve the language with the amendments that Ann had suggested? John? Okay, second?
So moved?
Okay, and any discussion, any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Todd mentioned a good May of traffic. Just as we take a look ahead into June and how things are trending, I know we're wrapping up the month here very quickly, but nationally, month to date, traffic is actually down through checkpoints about 0.6%, so pretty flat. For us right now, we're up about 3% going into the end of the month. As we look at sort of the things that have been taking place since our last meeting on May 26th, We did, on May 30th, host the second annual Girls in Flight event at Queen City Airport. So we had 17 attendees. I think we heard from some members who knew people who were part of that. It sounded like a good event, good turnout from folks to really get girls involved in aviation and understanding all the great career opportunities there are.
A good friend of mine's daughter was in, she loved it.
Yeah.
She had a great time.
Good. June 4th, American Airlines relaunched their Chicago O'Hare service, twice daily service, so that's been running well. June 15th, our employees participated in the Senior Share Pack program at the Second Harvest Food Bank. June 20th, we held the Wings for All event, which was in partnership with the ARC of Lehigh and Northampton counties. Highest attendance we had in partnership with Delta Airlines. We had 45 families for that one. Great event. Always great to partner with the ARC on that event. So just really a wonderful day. On June 29th, we did have just yesterday the Miller Keystone Bloodmobile out front here. So we did collect a number of units of blood for the community. And then in terms of what's upcoming, on July 7th through the 10th is our third annual Junior Fire Camp. So it's our third year doing this. We have 55 attendees registered, so keeps climbing. That's a record for us. July 13th through the 17th, we're hosting Northampton School District. We'll have about 10 students, I believe juniors and seniors, in a summer learning program. So we did that last year. It'll be back again this year, a group of different students. August 7th, we have our annual emergency plan tabletop exercise. So Steve Connors and his team will be leading the charge on our tabletop exercise for the emergency plan. And August 19th, we're hosting our next Fear of Flying seminar. We've got 10 out of the 12 spots filled. If folks are interested, they can sign up at flyabe.com. That concludes my report, Mr. Chair. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Tom?
Just one question. Has Legion picked up any volume with Spirit going out?
Locally, you mean? Their traffic is up a little bit. I don't know that it's something I can directly relate to what's happening with other carriers or other airports, but certainly, we're seeing their numbers are up. They had a very strong May.
I just have a couple comments. One, Colin sent out the copy of the annual report for 2025, and I thought it was very nicely done. So thank you for sending that out to all of us, Colin, and appreciate the information. It looks good. And the other thing is, Tom tells me that we may be hearing about a grant sometime in the next couple of weeks, which may necessitate us having a special meeting sometime in July. So we will be in touch with you should that be required. Our special meetings require, I think, 24 or 48 hours, something like that,
We'll try to give you a little
notice.
more than that.
So if we can get more notice, we will do that. But, and that would be a totally, electronic meeting. We would do that so that you don't have to come in and that would be a quickie, just to approve receiving the grant.
Right.
So we'll let you know if that does happen between now and our August meeting. Madam Solicitor, any report from you?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As to the responsible contractor policy, we are still awaiting word from the FAA as to approval or review of the policy that was conditionally approved a few meetings ago. So we'll keep you updated there. Just the maintenance stuff, the vendor contracts and any real estate items that come up, we've been helping out on. I did provide an update to committee about the stormwater matter against the city of Allentown. And if the board would like a report, I would recommend an executive session for that, since it does deal with pending litigation.
Anyone feel a need to go into executive session to hear more about that? No, I think we're okay.
Okay, that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any new business come before the board? And we don't have a need for executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to the tour.
So moved.
Thank you. See you all in the bus.
The bus.